Hello, Joe.
What's up, buddy?
Man, uh, working, just working.
She works
Uh,
hard for the money.
that's it.
Um, I don't know. I just, a lot of stuff's down, but a lot of stuff was up. So,
Yeah.
who knows what that means. I am glad that I took some profits over the last couple of weeks, but you can't
Yeah.
time this stuff. So now it's sort of a matter of, remembering what Sean's charts looked like on some of our favorites. And I
He
guess wait
posted
for,
those. I think he posted them in the Telegram.
well, good.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen anything really surprising. Have you?
No, I haven't. Hold on one second. I'm trying to load up some stories here. Keep chatting. Tell us everything, Joe.
Um, so it just seems like super. It seems super quiet. I guess that's what I'm getting at. I mean, if we're just talking about crypto,
Yeah.
I mean, I think if we want to talk about macro, everybody wants to talk about macro, but to me, I just don't. It just depends on what scenario, what information you're using to support your investment thesis right now.
Yep.
And to me, um, I don't feel as doom and gloom as everybody else. It seems.
I I don't care. I'm just stacking, dude. I got some money in USD based yield farms making variance 13 to 16%, whatever. I'm watching that and I'm stacking ETH, Bitcoin, and Canto. That's it. I'm simplifying life.
Well, I mean, it's got. I was thinking a lot about that over the weekend too. Just things that might as well sell it while you can. Take the tax loss because remember, if you hold this stuff down to like nothing and there's no market to sell it, you can never realize the loss.
Right.
So it's not an easy declaration to make to say to the regulatory authorities, and I'm talking U.S.
Right.
You need to exit some of those. So, you can exit if there's no wash trade provision or prohibition, then you can buy it right back if you want.
Right. Right.
And put in your long hold thing. I mean, I question then at that point, do you buy it back? I don't know. I mean, if we believe or if we think that this is, taking candy from the kiddies, basically, then you see that in the alts. I mean, you see that a lot of those are down right now.
Right.
But that never seems to mean what anybody thinks it's going to mean. There never seems to be any like kind of pattern. So it just seems to me like there's going to be winners and losers, as always. And
That's usually the case.
and which way is it going to go? That seems to be the question that nobody ever can answer.
Absolutely.
Timing.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. I want to chat a little bit today about a adjacent crypto topic, but AI, because I don't think we've talked about it much, and I'm pretty deep in. And I got friends like Doc Schotten, who is a skeptic about getting to artificial generalized intelligence, and I buy that that we're not there. But I got to tell you, people, if you're not diving deep into how to optimize utilization of AI in your life and playing with the new tools that are available and learning how to use them effectively and properly and engineer your prompts properly, you're going to left behind. And I'm doing a lot of this as well because I'm worried about my kids. There's going to be from my perspective, at the very least, there will be a mass shedding of jobs because one person will be able to automate and do the work of a lot of people. And so I am convinced that we're going to have a valley of income loss for a large percentage of the population. And I think that it's going to force UBI on the world. And because otherwise it's fucking Mad Max and chaos with people not having income and revenue. And I think there's an incredible opportunity for us to leverage all this into a society that operates differently. I think eventually, if AI keeps advancing, it eliminates the need for money because the concentration of power and technology will be pretty much in just a few places. And between that, 3D printing and robotics advancing over the next 10 to 15 years, it's going to be pretty significant. If you're a developer, a software developer, and you're developing apps, especially anything in the general market that average people would use or average businesses would use, you really should be ramping up on AI, because I am easily convinced that what we know of regular applications, as I have said, apps are dead men walking. Currently, the best next step is to work relevant to APIs and modular functionality that the AI can use via plugins or via prompt engineering to build up a business that will allow you to still do what you do. But eventually, the AI will have that knowledge, and we won't need applications. The AI will be our interface, and we won't even need necessarily full-blown operating systems. So I would highly encourage everyone to start researching. I have a AI list in Twitter where I'm curating people that are revealing a lot of what's going on in the space and talking through how things work and how to optimize it. It's I'll put it in the Telegram channel. I also tweeted about it today. But I just want to encourage everyone to understand that there is going to be a significant change in the world, and how fast or how slow, I can't say for sure, but it's already changing pretty dramatically. So I watched a video the other day of two people creating full-blown iOS apps with no programming skills, utilizing ChatGPT and a couple of other tools. And I've created apps for my own use, and I'm not a programmer. So anyway, that is that. I think it's an opportunity for incredible stuff for humans, but it's also could be a fucking train wreck. So
interesting.
Yep.
Can you go to it? Can you go to it and say, "Make me $1 billion app"?
You can go to it and say, what are the best, what are the highest profitability or sales of apps in app stores, or what are the ones highest priced, but also are a good target market? I mean, you can have it do all that research for you, right? And then it can build the website for you. It can build the app for you. It can build the UI for you. So it is not yet to the point where it replaces highly complex applications, because it can't do all that code for you. But if you're a developer, you can 10x your productivity right now, like massively, like bug fixes, debugging, finding code instead of spending an hour and a half searching fucking websites for solutions and code ideas. You can just get them from ChatGPT, from any number of other products that are out there now. So,
well, I think what we say now is say, Mrs. Nickel, see Brad next year, right? At this point, he'll be back in 2024 after his AI odyssey.
There you go. Shizzy said the dip was needed. Profit takers seeing portfolios looking great and want to lock it in. Great buying opportunities right now. All right. Chuck says, someone get Joe a tissue. Joe, you still having allergies, huh? It's
just continuously bothering me. I don't know. That's whatever crazy, it is.
Dude. Have you tried Zyrtec?
I don't do chemicals.
Really? At all?
I rarely even do NSAIDs.
How about the what's that called? Neti Pot to clean out your sinuses. Nah. That'll get the allergens out. That's not meds. That's just saline water.
Yeah.
It works great. No, I'm sorry. We don't have to discuss your personal health on the show. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's a
Just don't want you
Privacy
suffering.
Act violation.
I don't want you to suffer. Chuck said, this is no different than the issue with robots, automation, manufacturing. There needs to be co-ops of workers that own the robots and the AI solutions, et cetera, and receive income from that versus hourly laborers. Totally agree, dude. I disbelieve the ability to do serious code fixes / features because it does not currently understand right, wrong, just most frequent. There's no way to get it to code and have it understand. I agree at this point, but providing it with solutions that work and giving it feedback will make it better and better at that. And that's what all these models are doing, right? And I will tell you, Microsoft is actually building their own AI chip to not have dependency on Nvidia anymore. And I think they have the opportunity to leap ahead in their data because OpenAI is still limited to data up to 2021. Now, I'm sure they're out building the next ChatGPT 5 with more recent data. But Microsoft, having built, I guess they're half owners now at this point. I don't know what the model got to, but Microsoft isn't stopping. Microsoft is actually, when you use Bing's chat by Microsoft, you're able to pull relevant current data from the internet. So it already is superior in that way. I don't know if Bing is using ChatGPT 4 or not, though. I do find that the caliber of a lot of my queries on ChatGPT 4.0, especially related to tech issues, is better than what Bing does. And Bing also has a bit of an attitude. If it doesn't like something you ask, it basically says fuck off. But it is I like the fact that Microsoft said fuck it, we're just gonna make it run. I also like that they immediately integrated it with all of their applications, and now Google is playing catch up. Google's announced they're integrating with all of their suite of apps, and they did now allow access to Bard. Or they're waitlisting it, but I have access to Bard. But I have found it is not as capable yet as ChatGPT is. In addition, there's a ton of people creating clones of ChatGPT, building up their own LLMs. They are building applications that let you run things locally on your own machine instead of subscribing to an API. There are some really cool tools being developed with built-in prompts already for graphic design and development to overcome some of the difficulty for average people to utilize it. And so there's a lot of cool innovation happening. A lot of developers are jumping in head first to make sure they keep themselves relevant. So it's very interesting. Anyway, it's going to be fun to watch. I saw this story. I don't know what the fuck this is. I just saw it at the last minute, but what was his
wait, sorry, no picks for us?
No what?
No picks for us in the space?
Picks?
Yeah, any picks after talking about AI and everything like that? I mean, what, you got some alpha for the audience?
Well, I think Microsoft's a solid fucking investment right now. If you're buying stocks, I am 100% think they're making all the right fucking moves. I think they still have issues with some of their software. Their search and homepage shit is just garbage, but they're embracing this and owning the number one player, a big chunk of the number one player in the AI space. Look, not financial advice, but I think Microsoft is well positioned and is making the right aggressive moves. And I think Google is going to play catch up for a while. And it's sad because Google was really early in building teams. Now they just announced that they are merging all of their separate AI teams into one, which is probably smart because they had, I think, like 4 or 5 acquisitions they'd done as well as their own internal team. So I think that's great to see. And I don't in any way count Google out. And they also have what everybody else doesn't have, which is all the fucking internet. And so when you have all the fucking knowledge of humanity on your servers and you have a better search algorithm than anybody else, you get the computation capabilities and the AI capabilities right. then you're probably going to catch up very rapidly. But I'm so impressed with Microsoft right now, just blown away. So
they're like getting up close to you and your legendary sort of Apple fanboy status.
No, I think Apple's going to easily integrate Siri with ChatGPT, and I think they'll do the smart thing and just integrate other providers. You know, one of the things I saw yesterday was a really cool app that's actually integrating multiple providers in an interface. Because I had the idea and said, "Oh, I'd really like to compare applications. I mean, results." And so I did. You know, I'm looking for a car for my son, and using the shit out of ChatGPT for that. So I don't feel the need to go to Consumer Reports or Edmunds or anything else. So Niblet says Chuck shot in Chinese rooms cannot by definition understand, but they scale well. Yes. Niblets is referring to, and Chuck quotes this quite a bit, I don't even remember how it functions, but if you search on Wikipedia for Chinese room, you'll see why folks like Chuck and some other people I know are skeptical about us ever getting to AGI, which is fine. Probably all for the better, possibly, but the capabilities we will get are pretty amazing. Of course, the OpenAI guys say they will, so who knows? I'm trying to find out. I found this story about a Polygon executive leaving, and I can't find the fucking story, but I linked to it in Twitter. Well, here we go. He was the research lead, and he's leaving Polygon to spin off a blockchain product called Avail. So I don't know if anybody's familiar with Avail, but modular blockchain with data availability layer designed to scale blockchain networks. So I'm assuming this is an investment by Polygon that he's spinning off. It's very interesting that there'd be yet another chain. I guess they said we just can't add another fucking blockchain to our repertoire because we already have like 5. But this is going to be really interesting to see. He left Polygon 2.5 years. The data availability problem during my interview with Polygon, then Matic Network. Since then has been a joyride working with him and the stellar team, blah, blah, blah. At Avail, we want to offer a robust and secure data availability API so that app devs can focus on building the next generation of trust minimized applications without worry about bootstrapping security or inheriting complexities of shared monolithic chains. I'm wondering if this has some similarities to the BNB Greenfield platform in terms of data availability targeting, but I'll dive into it a little bit deeper over the next few days and see if I can actually learn what the fuck it is. So,
Yeah, no, it's always good to know what the F it is
about
before we start talking about it.
Did you say F it is? Did you say what the F it is? Did you say that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was what I said.
Is your daughter listening or your mother today?
No, I just it comes out when it wants to come out. Actually, I'm just looking at some, I saw some like 14 mind-blowing, is this AI apps? What is this called? AI tools. Like one, I was just testing out this Luca, which is some kind of free logo maker, just to see what it comes up with. Have you tried that?
Yeah, not that one, but I've tried others. There are now ones that'll build a complete website based on just a description for your business. It's overwhelming. That's why I started building an AI list in Twitter, because I got too much shit going everywhere. So.
Yeah, no, it's always good to stay focused.
Gemini is I don't know if this is something they were already working on, or if they kind of freaked out that Coinbase went offshore to announce a derivatives platform. But Gemini is launching the Gemini Foundation, a non-US crypto derivatives platform. I don't know if that means non-US as in also non-US users can't use it. I would assume that's the case, being Gemini. But very interesting to see 2 major US platforms, exchanges, centralized exchanges, now going the way of offshore derivatives. So, available to customers in the following areas. And absent is the United States of America.
Left out again.
Yeah, I wonder how they're walling that off from their internal staff. Like, that's got to be an interesting thing. Like, they can't have any infrastructure, they can't have any tech, they can't do anything. Anybody in the office talking about it, because that'll just give the SEC a hook. Like, they've got to keep it like completely
On the down low.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like, remember back in the .com days, what was it? I don't think this is racist, but the Chinese wall, which was sort of the concept of that, no one's going to stand up and look over the wall and hand information over. It's sort of like it's there. It's not really a physical wall. It's just an honor wall or an ethics wall. And one thing we do know in the world of finance, there's a hell of a lot of ethics out there.
Absent from the list is Estonia.
So think about
set up
that.
your business offshore, and Cayman, BVI, Bermuda, Bahamas, you can trade here. Shortly.
Yeah, supposedly it works there.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Did you there's a big initiative now in finance too, where you can get like any name you want on your cards in order to accommodate all the I don't know what the right word is, the gender fluidity of the population these days. So you could now it's some kind of right where you could pick any name you want. Wow. Supposedly, like you could be, I don't know, Palmetto Brad, let's say, and boom.
That's what I was going to pick, man.
But most of the people that are picking names, they are usually making some kind of a statement.
Yeah, I would say so.
You could be, but you could be BO5 crypto.
Yeah. This was a really interesting thread. I'll make sure it's in the show notes. He's, well, I'm saying he. I think it is a he. But anyway, it's a comparison of the top 5 chains by economic activity. And this is a tweet from November of 2022 where he ranked Ethereum subjectively, Ethereum, BNB chain, Tron, Polygon, POS, Arbitrum One, Optimism, Solana, Phantom, Chronos. Wait a minute. Where's the rest of the thread? Come on. Seriously? Oh, did you hear what happened on Twitter with the new?
No.
Well, okay.
I heard they ditched the blue checks completely, and they ditched like the labels, like the state media labels completely. They ditched all that.
Yeah. So 2 things. I posted an article last week, no, 2 days ago, a Twitter thread about the fact that all simultaneously on March 29th, China, Russia, and Iran, who used to be not shadow banned, but they were not given any, Twitter would never give them a boost, even if they had engagement on a tweet, because all the state media organizations associated with those countries. On March 29th, all 3 of them simultaneously saw a massive surge in engagement and follows on all 3 of those accounts. And that was also when their state media titles were removed last week, but the algorithm made some kind of shift for them on March 29th. So that happened. And then the week later, Musk starts slapping NPR and with the same state-sponsored media thing that they would give to Chinese government publications. And then, so he's a fucking hot mess of morality and ethics. And then, shocking, I know. And then they got rid of the blue checks. I've actually been advocating for it. I have had a blue account before Elon joined because of the features and functions I got in it. I'm happy with it. And because I wrote a long thread about this, I'll put it in the show notes. And because I want Twitter to fucking survive. I've invested a shit ton of effort building a network there, and I don't want it to fucking collapse. Anyway, all of the fucking far left spent their weekend freaking out about who got a blue check and who's a traitor and blah, blah, blah. Fuck them all. And the right wing were freaking out the other direction, making fun of the left wing. And then some of them were critical of Musk about who he donated blue checks to that are famous and wealthy. Anyway, then I commented that this was a great idea. They announced their verified organization program, which I think is really fucking smart, and it's reasonable. And the idea is, if you're a news organization or a corporation, or you're an influencer, and you want to make sure that people know you're the real deal, right? You pay $1,000 a month plus $50 per employee per month to get a gold check mark that designates you as a gold or gray check mark that designates you as a verified official representative of that entity, or that is the entity's account. I thought that was brilliant. My only criticism was they needed one for nonprofits that was much cheaper, and maybe something cheaper for influencers that don't make a ton of money but need to be verified, right? They're not making money from their influence. They're just people that people want to follow, but they want to know they got the right guy. So I was all for that. I was like, fucking A, this is fantastic, right? This is brilliant. I think it makes a ton of sense. It overcomes the problem of knowing who's who, the veracity of who you're following. It allows corporations and news orgs to verify themselves. And it was brilliant. Well, let me see if I can find these tweets. Because
alas, we know something's coming.
Because, Elon Musk, the genius of product management that he is. Hold on. Somebody. I want to find the right thing.
Bueller?
My son showed this to me just before I got on the show. So I'm trying to pull this up at the same time.
Bueller?
Hold on. Talk, Joe. Tell me something interesting you learned this weekend.
I was just getting exercise all weekend, enjoying the fresh weather, thinking about the summer. Nothing too exciting. I mean, I didn't really look at crypto much just because I didn't really think I was going to see anything I wanted to see. So, I just ignore it at that point. So, I missed out on the Twitter shit over the weekend and, didn't really do much. There was something I thought was kind of intriguing. Oh, I saw that Tucker Carlson's actually leaving Fox News.
What?
Because, he's leaving Fox News in wake of that Dominion settlement. So he's out.
Wait.
At Fox.
I don't believe that. He's like their number one draw.
Yeah. Well, maybe that was part of the settlement. I don't know.
Oh, are you sure? That's insane. That's like their number one guy.
Yeah.
He's number one dispenser of lies on that network. I'm amazed. So turns out they set up this organization verification program at Twitter, but you didn't actually have to prove it. All you had to do was pay the $1,000.
Oh, there you go. There's some good old American commerce right there.
So somebody registered as Disney Junior UK verified and started telling people that fucking South Park was coming to Disney Junior and cussing and shit. And so Elon had to
give that $1,000 back.
Elon had to suspend him. But
can you imagine that's what you have to do all weekend as Elon is basically friggin', because these issues. These issues are all surfacing all eventually to his phone. So wherever he is, he's like, I just got to stay on top of this. So I want everything routed to me. And it's like, the next one's going to be, like suckmenonprofit.com, or something like that. And he's going to be sitting there trying to decide if it's real or not.
He's such a fucking train wreck. It's like, dude. If you got a credit card, you're verified.
Yeah. I mean, but like you said, there's nowhere else to go. I mean, I saw somebody talking up Nostr or whatever, but you know, I mean, good God, there's like nothing going on anywhere.
No,
So it makes me wonder if like how much of this shit really was just bots, breaking bad constantly.
it's unbelievable. Well, I can't find the rest of this thread. I'll put it in the show notes, but it actually was a really interesting tracking of economic activity across all the major chains. And it would have been great to talk about, but
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been.
Andre Cronje
Ah,
dropping some hints. Somebody posted and complained that Revolut app is no longer crypto friendly and they're closing people's accounts that have crypto as source of funds. So if you're a Revolut app user, get ready for check your spam filter for an email telling you you're no longer welcome. Shocking. Thank you, fucking Janet Yellen and the Biden administration. Andre Cronje replied to that and said, need a card or just payments infrastructure? If the latter, I can add you to our closed beta. If card, that will be available by end of 2023. Crypto-friendly bank available to public within this year.
nice. And he's talking about on Phantom or?
I don't know. It will be KYC, obviously. And there was a discussion about US or not, and I don't think he ever answered it. No, I don't think he answered it. But
he's a new citizen of Palau.
But yeah, but that's actually pretty exciting to see. If somebody's buying a bank, if he got together with some dudes to buy a bank or launch a bank, that could be pretty exciting. So,
well, it's all about where is the bank.
Sure.
You could go set up
Nigerian
banks.
bank, it's probably not going to cut it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about other all the main areas of international commerce activity. A lot of those places you can do banks. I think the key is, I'm hoping, and it sounds like from his tease, it is some way it can access, European and North American customers. Again, more on and off ramps. Although I have to say, I haven't really been having much trouble with, Coinbase at all. So, I don't really see that train wreck out there that everybody was presenting it, the choke point 2.0 train wreck. I'm not seeing it. But I'm not moving money in at this point.
Well, I
don't know how
the Revolut app stuff tells you that the pressure is on, and the more conservative risk managers are saying, get the fuck out. Right. But I think Revolut app promoted itself as big time crypto, but evidently not anymore. By the way, I just did a search. Everybody and their dogs reporting on this Tucker Carlson leaving Fox thing.
Yeah.
I do think he registered a network broadcast license. I think the letters KKK were available.
.KKK?
Yeah. Yeah. He's a fucking piece of shit. I hope nobody hires him. Okay. Trust Wallet. If you are an old user of Trust Wallet, there were losses of $170,000, but you need to upgrade the browser extension. And I think there was something in the actual app itself, but definitely the browser extension. There was a WebAssembly vulnerability in the WebAssembly library that made it into the core of their extension, but it's also, they have an API and source code that they released so other people could build wallets. So if you're using that, stop and upgrade it.
Yeah.
There were 500 vulnerable addresses.
Not financial advice.
170,000 people, $170,000 lost, but they're paying, Trust Wallet's paying it back. There's 500 vulnerable addresses that remain with only $88,000 total in those wallets. But they jumped on this quickly. They're covering people that lost money.
I think we know who's going to be getting their broom out this week.
Exactly. Evidently, another recently unveiled exploit has drained $11 million in non-fungible tokens from various addresses across 11 blockchains since 20. That's the one we were talking about last, right?
Yeah.
Targeting veterans in the crypto community. It is not an exploit in MetaMask. I guess there's no updates on that one either. So, did you see this fucking public meltdown? So for those of you that don't know, OPNX is the exchange started, exchange that was started by the 3AC boys to trade creditors.
Oh, this was the fundraise after the rug pull.
Yeah, so this was to fundraise. They fundraised to build an exchange to trade assets, so that creditors could trade their assets and not wait for bankruptcy, closing, and payouts.
Right.
What
humanitarians?
So, yeah, they're good people like that. Like, okay, I can buy at 10 cents on the dollar today. They're on the other side of it. You know, they're the only ones making on this.
Yeah, they're just like wash trading amongst themselves.
Exchange, absolutely. Fucking 3AC market makers everywhere.
We just cut in all our best buddies.
Exactly. So,
that are left.
So the fucking Leslie Lamb is the CEO's name. Leslie Puppet Lamb. Anyway, Leslie Lamb is the CEO of OPNX, and she decided to go last week and start naming what she said were all of the investors in OPNX and thanking them. So she did that. She had a little video. You know, she said these are the people that either invested in equity or they bought some tokens, right? But wasn't overly clear about it. So she does this video, and all of a sudden, all of these people quoted as investors are like, we did not fucking invest in this protocol, in this platform. So then they deny it. And it turns out that some of those investors had been investors in a project, and I think it's called Coin, KOIN. Anyway, they had bought tokens from another project that was acquired by 3AC, right? And so she was actually claiming they were investors in OPNX when in fact these people had only invested in the previously acquired company, right? So then she comes out the next day and freaks out and tries to like guilt all of them out there, saying they're all pieces of shit and blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's like
never a good move.
Full on meltdown over there. So I don't think I'm going to be even looking at that website.
So they basically took cobbled together all their sort of failed projects into one big project and called all the failed projects investors.
Yeah. So here it is.
When they got
Nascent, actually, which is a very reputable investing firm, and I've had multiple founders tell me in interviews that I can't remember his name, but the founder of Nascent is an absolute like mensch, like developers, VC, you know, focused on them, help them through their problems, etc. Just to clarify, Nascent did not participate in an OPNX fundraising round. We invested in Flex tokens in early 2021. So this woman's basically trying to drag all these poor fucking investors in to boost her brand that never invested in their company. So anyway, a little more of a reputation shot for that organization.
Yeah, if you're going to be, starting to try to hypothecate value out of no value, you need to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Or it unravels quickly.
Yeah, this is going to get interesting. Luna is not a security, South Korean court rules in Terra co-founders case. Makes it interesting for the founders and their liability in South Korea, but also makes it interesting to see how U.S. and other regulatory authorities in other parts of the world react to this.
Yeah, and I wonder how it affects everybody's stint in the Montenegrin prison. If it's not a security now, I bet there's some frantic legislating going on.
He's not in prison for that. he's gonna get 2 years for the fake IDs. That's why they
Oh, that's why he's in prison.
and that's what
okay.
they charged him with. And he can't get out of that unless he gets extradited. Right about now, he's like, fucking, please, God, make me a criminal somewhere else.
Yeah.
Evidently, the Montenegro prisons are not great.
Yeah, it ain't club fed.
Yeah.
You're kind of way down there in the sub 1-star category for prisons.
There you go. VC funding into Web3 startups is down 82% year over year.
That's encouraging. That's all the cash on the sidelines.
Which, you know what? Here's the thing. If your firm bailed that quickly with all the shit that we see being built in this space, you weren't really in it for anything but the fucking, hand job.
Money.
Yeah. So, the people still investing are obviously, now it may have been people just got paranoid and said, you know what, let me see what shakes out. Maybe I can make some investments in some tech and bundle them into another company, whatever. I mean, they may be just being conservative, but if you bailed that quickly, these are those times when you have the negotiation capabilities where you can, get better deals.
I think from market chatter has it that they're all watching the Thursday show. And so they're all sitting there waiting for that correction down. That's why the money's all on the sideline.
That's probably it. Speaking of which, Mr. Sean is going to, on Thursday, take us through how to be a market maker and take us through his algorithms. So I'm actually really excited for that. And I'm going to make him teach it like we're a 5th grader.
Well, you got socially promoted last year?
Yeah, I did. My mom wouldn't talk to the school.
Good thing that varsity letter jacket still fits.
Exactly. Let's see what's going on.
Yeah, and that'll be fun. I love his. It is funny though because it kind of anesthetizes us from. Oh. We're just all expecting the worst now. It seems.
Yeah. So, we haven't been really paying attention to DFYN DFYN.
Yeah.
Dude, they're fucking rolling out something pretty fucking impressive. I mean, it's complex, but their version 2.0 has a lot of features that Bancor had. And their new version has no slippage, uses the Uniswap V3 capabilities, but improves upon it supposedly. Essentially, what they're claiming in their new version is that you get limit orders, you get no slippage. So essentially, you can trade in real time at the price you wanted or the price you were seeking without worrying about it. And there's a ton of other shit they're building into this, but I don't even know how I stumbled upon this blog post, but I did. It was probably a tweet link, but I'm going to go back in and play with DFYN again. The version 2.0 beta is up right now at exchange.defyn.network. But this sounds like, so on-chain limit orders. So the limit orders are actually on-chain. Most limit order systems are actually basically a centralized mechanism that stores where you want the order and then shoots it out to the exchange when it gets there. These are actually being placed on-chain. They are on Polygon, and I think they said they're launching on Arbitrum, but I'm not sure. I got to look the rest of the way the article. They have,
sounds like a good way to do limit orders.
They have both concentrated liquidity from Uniswap version 3 that they've improved upon and unified pools as in Uniswap version 2. Liquidity is distributed evenly across the entire interval, blah, 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 blah. And then they have the concentrated liquidity metrics. But supposedly what they've done with this model is try to overcome the impermanent loss problems of unified pools and the management problems of the concentrated liquidity pools. I haven't tried this out yet. I did breeze through this article yesterday, just trying to understand what they're doing with this. But it sounds like a really powerful move. The one thing that made me nervous is when I read this, and then I read another article they wrote describing the technology and this infrastructure. I always get a little nervous when something sounds complex in this space. because I think the attack vectors open up there to make things a little scarier. But if you're just trading, you know, it seems like might be a good thing to try. First audit is in. I think they're doing multiple audits. They published the notes. Anyway, I'm actually excited to see what this is like and give it a shot and see if it really proves out. Because then I would start using it with some indicators that require real-time pricing, right? If they can deliver it. Hash rate is doing that, but hash rate's doing that via bot market makers. And so this is going to be interesting to see if they can make it happen or not. But you know, I always liked these guys. I interviewed the CEO, was really impressed with him. Their liquidity pools are currently paying between 13 and 103%. In their yield farms, I mean. So, you know, I'm going to take a deeper look.
Yeah, it's always good to find. They're part of Team India. You know, they've got great people associated with the project.
Yeah.
You know, I think what happened with me and I remember I was definitely had a lot of defined stake there, and some other pools.
You and I spent a lot of time on this exchange.
Yeah, no, I remember Matrix Swap. You know, there was a lot of stuff. Router protocol, which was that, you know, that multi-chain piece of DeFi. But yeah, I just kind of lost track of it along the way, you know?
Me too. I'm going to go back and take a look. They didn't launch a 300,000 token trading competition. They did in March, which was actually really interesting. It wasn't one of those stupid, whoever trades the most wins. It was actual, like, whoever's the most profitable wins with some really wonky strategies. I forgot that they also had the multi-coin swap, and they have cross-chain swaps that they built in because they own router protocol, right? That's part of their portfolio as well. So I'm actually, and actually they forgot too. They also launched, I think last year sometime, beginning of 22, they launched the ability just to create your own farm within their system as well. So really impressive. I'm going to reach out to the CEO and see if I can get him back on for another show, because I was always impressed with them. Polygon's an investor, so that bodes well for them as well. So let's see, anything else exciting? Oh, this is, you know what, we don't have time for it. Fuck, I meant to get to this first today. This is a really great, and I'm gonna post it. Well, I'm gonna save it for tomorrow.
Well, give us a tease. Come on, give us a tease.
It's a really fucking awesome thread on the lessons around valuing and investing in crypto, but with visual representations of strategies and techniques and tactics for maximizing gain and not fucking up. And this was, I mean, this was kind of one of those threads where it like took, for me, it took pieces from all the other pros that I've kind of looked at and seen who've given advice. This thing was really, really good. It brings them all together. Just does a really fantastic job kind of bringing it all together. He gives out his research checklist. I mean, it's a really fucking fantastic thread. So I'll, and this is an old thread and it's all still relevant. So, we'll discuss it. We'll discuss it tomorrow. We'll walk through the pieces tomorrow. We'll see if everybody agrees or not. So, anything else, Joe, I need to bring up? Coinbase got the Bermuda license. We talked about that. Oh, you know what? We've talked about this previously. And that is that there is a kind of a legal doctrine arguing that regulatory agencies, unless explicitly ordered by Congress, are not allowed to create new authority for themselves. And that's a very basic explanation of it, right? Well, the Supreme Court, there's been appeals courts who have backed this, have actually taken this stance. And then the Supreme Court did it as it relates to the Federal Trade Commission for a company that sued them. There's another court, and it was a 9-0 ruling by the justices. And then there's another woman who has a case winding through. I think it's related to the EPA. No, related to the SEC. that they sued her or fined her for something she did around securities and accounting practices. And she's an accountant, owns a CPA firm, and she's suing the SEC that they overreached and were not permitted. All of that is to say there are a number of analysts in the crypto DeFi space who say this could be potentially the silver bullet for crypto and pulling back moves by the SEC and the moves by CFTC and others. And especially the extra regulatory activity of the choke point stuff. So from what I understand, there are multiple entities funding some legal work to potentially go after this tactic. The interesting thing about this is if this works, it's going to throw if the Supreme Court continues to support this, especially as it relates to securities and some other, what you have to do is test it legally related to specific components of actions that the SEC did and prove that power was never given to them by Congress specifically, right? And so the problem with that is that means that they have to contest all kinds of different capabilities that the SEC has taken on, powers that they've taken on in different suits. And so there have to be legal suits countersuing to make that case. You can't just say, hey, SEC, you can't enforce this shit anymore. So it requires going back, but this gets very interesting because number one, while it might be a good thing on the crypto side, it might not be such a great thing for consumer protections, environmental things, that kind of thing, because it'll mean that Congress has to write competent legislation to give the power and the authority to regulate some of the things that some of these agencies have not. The other side of it is if broader injunctions against the powers asserted by regulators are thrown out, then there are going to be a lot of past fines and lawsuits across all regulatory agencies that are going to end up being contested in court, or they're going to be writing checks back to people. So it's a really, really interesting legal argument. I'm actually really interested to see where this goes. Selfishly, from the crypto perspective, I think it makes sense. As an American, I think it makes sense. I don't think regulators should have broad authority to fine and imprison and sue people if the Congress hasn't told them that they don't want people to be able to do a certain thing. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yep, very, very.
All right, buddy.
You out?
Yeah.
All right, man. Have a great afternoon. Chuck,
yeah, go. Let's think.
Jizzy, thanks for joining us. Go ahead. What?
No, I was going to say, let's maybe come up with, let's see some yield farms and things like that tomorrow. See if we can inject some alpha energy into this discussion.
Great. We'll let you load them up tomorrow, Joe.
There you go.
All right. Chuck, Shizzy, Niblets, thanks so much for participating and joining. Thank you for everyone who has listened and watched today. If you're watching or if you're listening or watching on podcasts, Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please take a minute to rate and review us. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, click the little bell so you get notified about new episodes, and make sure you smash the thumbs up so that we get a boost in the algorithm. We appreciate you guys. We love you. We're if you haven't yet, you should be in the Mission DeFi Telegram. Lots of good shit there. Sean drove a new member in this weekend. So thank you to everybody for joining. T.me/Mission DeFi. T.me/Mission DeFi. We want to hear your thoughts, ideas, critiques, criticisms, plans, strategies, alpha, projects you like, whatever you want. We got a category or topic for you. And if it's not there, I'll create it. So join us. Joe, thank you very much. Hope you have a great afternoon, buddy.
You too, man. Thanks, Brad. And thanks, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.